when you need my love. And I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing.
Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. If loving Q is wrong, I don't want to be right. But I'm right about this. We got some new Q posts, and we're going to get right to them. Keep in mind, I always read through these first, so if you want to skip through to the analysis, just click on the timestamp below. Here we go. Post 1826, 36 minutes, after the hour of 7 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. EDT would be one more hour later. Past 24 hours, Nunez attack. Sample. Both of these are in brackets. And then Q proceeds to bombard us with links. At the bottom, he says, coordinated effort to silence, remove, notice a pattern, echo chamber conspiracy. These people are sick. Then we have a link, U.S. Air Force B-52, precision bombs in brackets, Q. Post 1827, 57 minutes after the hour, 7 p.m., we have this right here to a video. Enjoying every second of it. Q says comfy. Previews are over. Showtime. Q. Post 1828, 27 minutes after the hour of 9 or 10 EDT. Spy op in brackets. White House. Hussein in brackets. VJ, DM, JB, RE, JK in 3 sets of brackets. SP, KM. We have an arrow, dash code. HRC/DNC. More brackets. CIA, JB, class 1 through 5. NSA play/reveal TT. DNI, JC. DOJ, LL, SY, BO-CS, UK, DL, PS, DL, JC, MM, RB, arrow. We have a few dashes. BC. All of those are in brackets. FBI, JC, AM, JR, MS, BP, PS, LP, JB, MK, JC, SM, TG, KC. We have an arrow, a few dashes here, 4 dashes, another arrow. And then in brackets, HRC, BC, HA, CM, in ellipses, then more brackets, fake news. No name in brackets, media, JB, JC, leaks, POTUS, daily, brief/FBI. Fusion GPS in brackets, shell 2, another arrow, dash, CS, dash, small dash, arrow, no name in brackets. Pertins Coy, shell 2. Washington Free Beacon, also in brackets, shell 1. Double brackets, HRC, JP, RM/DNC, DWS/JC. And we have an arrow, couple dashes, another arrow, UK, PM, MI6, SIS, spy, active in brackets. Then we have again an arrow, a dash, an arrow, CS in brackets. Tarmac, final meeting, no charges/drop equals Supreme Court. Go-betweens, meetings 1 through 4. Hussein, 3, national security orders official, POTUS can declass. Bottom to top, see now. FBI/DOJ to expand fast. FISA apps, false. Activate domestic spy campaign. UK assist feed to CIA. No longer with the I. Cannot operate domestically. JB. They never thought she would lose. Q. Adding on to that, post 1829, 45 minutes after the hour of 10, we get this here. What assets, people were placed, spy in POTUS campaign? Why did the news cycle drop this investigation? Think several. What if those placed are being investigated by BM? Plants need water. What if others placed connect to future? What if Nellie Orr previously worked on the farm? The start. Public justification to proceed clean. Q. And post 1830. 54 minutes after the hour of 9 EST, the Clinton Foundation. Then we have 888-373-7888Q. Okay, first things first, I want to explain a couple things. As many of you already know, QAnonMap.github is down. I have no idea if it's going to come back up or if it should soon. GitHub did make a statement which led me to think that it would probably come back up soon. But either way, it is down. Do not worry, my fine friends. We have QAnonMap.bitbucket.io, which is what we're going to read off today. We also have Kunduntumbakatutusun.keybase.pub. hub that you can go to. And personally, my personal favorite here is qmap.pub. A lot of you guys don't like the black background, but if it were up to me, we'd be reading off that. So do not worry. We've got more links. We've got more Q. That's going to be okay. All those links are going to be down below. If you want to choose one, I said again, all those links are down below. So if you see somebody typing in the comments below, what happened to QAnon.pub, please direct them to the video description. All right. Next thing. To some of our newer viewers, first of all, welcome. But today we are going to go through some posts that, as you can see, involve a lot of different abbreviations, initials, and things like that. And you'll notice that on this particular page, you can see if I scroll over, I'm scrolling over the WH here, and if I hold my mouse over it, you'll see that it says White House. So in case some of you who are wondering what the dots are down below, these are ones that some of us on the boards have already kind of figured out and have come to knowing that, say, Hussein, of course, is Barack Hussein Obama, VJ being Valerie Jarrett. Okay, I hope you can see that, but I hope that makes sense. So that's what those dots mean. And of course, the ones that don't have them, we don't have yet, or we haven't come to an agreement on. All right, so there you go. Let's begin. Okay, post 1826. Q says, past 24 hours, Nunes attacks sample. And here is another massive sample of all these links. And we're not going to cover all these links because they all tell you the same story.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, nobody got time for that. But we will cover one here. Let's cover this one right here off of my favorite rag, MSNBC. TRMS exclusive. Devin Nunes speaks candidly at fundraiser. The Rachel Maddow Show has obtained exclusive secret audio of Representative Devin Nunes speaking candidly to donors at a private fundraiser for Representative Kathy McMorris Rogers. Wait a minute. So it's exclusive secret audio of Devin Nunes speaking candidly, not secretly, but candidly, to some donors. All right, well, it was a private fundraiser, but it wasn't exactly a secret Dakota ring meeting. All right, I think it's pretty legal to say things like this. If Sessions won't unrecuse and Mueller won't clear the president, we're the only ones, which is really the danger. We have to keep all these seats. We have to keep the majority. If we do not keep the majority, all of this goes away. Yeah, well, he's right, Rachel. None of that's illegal to say. He said it candidly to donors at a private fundraiser. It's totally okay. Nothing's illegal in that. It's very true. We have to keep those seats, just like Democrats think they need to keep their seats. So it's pretty legal. You see what's going on? All these links talking about the same story, going after Nunes now, trying to make this some big hoo-ha. Now, months ago, it was David Hogg and the cast of Glee, and they were going to take our guns away. And then it was kids at the border until they figured out that Obama did that too. Oops. And then what was it? It was Russia. No, it was North Korea. Excuse me. It was North Korea. Then it was Syria. And then it was Russia. And then it was Kavanaugh. And then it was QAnon. Then it was President Trump. Then it was QAnon again. And now, then it was Michael Cohen. Don't want to forget Michael Cohen. And for about a day, it was Tom Arnold. And whatever happened to Stormy Daniels? Whatever happened to Michael Avenatti? After that little Goomba visited Michael Avenatti, we don't hear from him anymore. What's up, Michael Avenatti? Buck up, Buttercup. So you get the idea. And the flavor of the week now is Nunes. Well, why are they going after Nunes? They could have gone after Nunes a long time ago. Could it be that he's about to drop 20 pages of some goodness? Some whopper with cheesy goodness? Q says coordinated effort to silence, remove. Yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're going to try and go after the source. He's going to be the one dropping it like it's hot, and they're going to say, this guy's whack. Notice a pattern? Yeah. Every week, we get these 4 a.m. talking points. Except now they're not even trying to hide it. They all bombard us, just like they did with Q weeks ago. QAnon, it was links and links and links about QAnon. Now they're moving on from QAnon because we got to deal with Nunes. Echo chamber conspiracy. Yeah, all these guys are getting their 4 a.m. talking points from the same place. They reword their sentences a little bit, send it on out. These people are sick. Then it takes us to this link right here from Merriam-Webster Dictionary of the word eradicate. Number 1, to do away with as completely, as if pulling up by the roots. Programs to eradicate illiteracy. Yeah, exactly. when you got yourself a weed, you got to get on down there and get up that root. That's the only way it's going to keep it from growing it back, right? Q says U.S. Air Force B-52 precision bombs. Now, I'm not exactly sure yet about the B-52 connection, but I think Q is definitely pointing us here in brackets, precision bombs. Precision bombs meaning that you're not just going to carpet bomb something. We've got specific targets. And their specific target is Devin Nunes. Well, who's ours? Post 1827, Anon gives us this link to the video that I just showed in the beginning of the video. Deadpool eating popcorn. Using the straw, by the way. Enjoying every second of it. Q says comfy. Previews are over. Showtime. Well, we've had previews for the last couple of weeks, and I think we're pretty ready to see the main event. Let's meet the cast of characters. Post 1828. Now, this looks to be kind of related to the flow chart that Q gave us in regards to the communications. And let me show you over on the Patriots fight board. It's easier to see on 8chan. You can see these double-sided arrows here. So it looks like these are the groups that were in contact with each other. And then you can see these. They won't line up the same way on the QAnon, this board right here on the QAnon map. Okay, but here you can see that they seem to just kind of be linking here, showing the different groups and the different links. I hope that makes sense to you. So it looks like it starts from the top here with a spy operation coming from the top of the White House. And of course, that would be Barack Hussein Obama, Valerie Jarrett. How about Dennis McDonough, Chief of Staff? I'm not really sure about JB. Usually I think John Brennan, but I think in this case it could either be James Baker, Chief of Staff, or it could be Joe Biden, considering that we're talking about the White House. RE, I'm going to guess is Rahm Emanuel. And then we've got what I'm assuming is John Kerry in a few different brackets right here. So I'm not exactly sure. I haven't quite cracked the code on how all these communications work. SP, could that be Samantha Powers, UN Ambassador? And then KM, Karen Mills, SBA Chief. And it looks like they were all either in contact with or in contact in representation of the HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton, and the DNC. And then we move on to the CIA, and that'll be John Brennan. And I'm assuming this is talking about security, class 1 through 5, security clearance. Does the NSA have the ability to play and reveal? I'm going to guess these might be the Tarmac tapes. Are they in possession of these Tarmac tapes? Then we go to the DNI, which is James Clapper. And then we go down to the DOJ. Loretta Lynch, Sally Yates, Bruce Orr, Christopher Steele. That was our UK connection to the US, right? And then you've got DL, I'm going to assume is David Loffman, Deputy Assistant AG, in charge of cybersecurity. And it's on either side here of what I think could be Peter Strzok still. It might be somebody else, and that wasn't my first thought, considering it was related to the DOJ. But I do think it could be Peter Strzok. And then we have DL again. And then in this case, JC, I'm going to guess is John Carlin, former Assistant AG. Then we've got MM, which is Mary McCord, Assistant AG, DOJ lawyer. And she originally led the Trump investigation. Then we have RB, Rachel Brand. Low prices, global governments. She's over there working at Walmart. And this is all linked over here to Bill Clinton. You'll see here there's an asterisk after BC. So let's go down here where it says Tarmac, final meeting, no charges drop equals Supreme Court. All right, Bill Clinton met with Aunt Loretta Lynch on the tarmac. And it looks like during that final meeting, they decided that if there were no charges into the email investigation, that Aunt Loretta Lynch was going to get promised a spot on the Supreme Court. Sounds like a pretty sweet deal. Now, as far as the go-betweens, meetings 1 through 4, I don't quite have these next couple lines figured out, but I'm just assuming that these probably were the go-betweens in what may have resulted in 4 meetings. Okay, so a few of those would have been all these people right here. Let's move on to the FBI. And that, of course, would be James Comey, Andrew McCabe, JR, James Rubicki. Then we got MS. I would guess that'd be Michael Steinbach. BP, Bill Priestap, Assistant Director, Counterintelligence. Then we got Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. I'm going to assume that's James Baker at this case. How about Mike Cortan, Public Affairs? Josh Campbell, maybe Assistant to James Comey. Sally Moyer, Supervisory Special Agent. Now TG, I'm going to go with Tashina Gohar. And KC, Kevin Kleinsman. Remember, those were the two that were a couple of the FBI lawyers that were mentioned I believe it was Tashina Gohar who had said, Viva la Resistance. That was that group of texts, the unnamed FBI lawyers. And it looks like we have a couple different communications here between Hillary Rodham Clinton, Bill Clinton, Huma Abedin. I'm going to guess that's Cheryl Mills. Fake news. Looks to me like this was our leaky McLeaky pants section right here. From the FBI straight to the fake news. Then we've got no name. That's John McCain. He goes to the media by way of these guys. John Brennan, James Clapper. Those were our leakers. Going out as analysts. And they would get the POTUS Daily Brief every day. Share it with the FBI. Then we go down here. Fusion GPS, Perkins Coie, Washington Free Beacon. Looks like these were all shell companies, Shell 1 and Shell 2, of what I'm going to assume is part of CrowdStrike. Remember, they handled the servers. They were the ones allowed to look at the servers. Not the FBI, but CrowdStrike. And that was all giving it to No Name, who was also, looks to be getting intel down here as well, too. Let's go to this next line. HRC, of course, Hillary Rodham Clinton. I'm going to assume that's John Podesta. RM, I'm going to go with Robbie Mook. That would have been Hillary's campaign manager. DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And I'm going to go guess that's James Comey in this particular case. It could be James Clapper, but I would think it's James Comey. And of course, they were in contact with the UK. A lot of people think this is Prime Minister. It's listed as Prime Minister. I'm going to go, I wonder if that's Paul Manafort. If this is the way he got planted in, he was being supported up by MI6 and SIS intel by way of Christopher Steele, Fusion GPS, and all that. That's what would make him an active spy that could communicate with CrowdStrike. And CrowdStrike could use Washington Free Beacon, Perkins Coie, Fusion GPS as either sources or ways to rehash that Christopher Steele dossier. Now down here, I'm not exactly sure if this still pertains to the asterisks here. Hussein 3, National Security Orders official, POTUS can declass. I'm guessing that's current right now. POTUS can declass whatever these national security orders were. And I'm going to guess that there were 3 of them. I'm going to guess that this has nothing to do with the asterisks here. Okay, so it looks like we could be seeing a declass from something that was ordered from all the way to the top. And if we read this here where it says bottom to top, we can see that this is where it originated, and this is where it would go back and forth between the government agencies and the media, all the way up to the top levels of our government, going all the way to Barack Hussein Obama. So I'm not exactly sure if I have all those contacts quite right or whatever. You haven't had much time to look at it, but there you go for that. Now, Q goes on to say, bottom to top, see now. That's what we just talked about. FBI, DOJ to expand fast. So I'm wondering if this means that we're going to see more firings, more resignings, if we're going to see another wave, if that's what's going to expand fast. FISA applications false. Activate domestic spy campaign. Yeah, we get plants within the Trump administration trying to get information during these daily briefs. UK assisted. Feed to CIA. Cannot operate domestically. Remember the 702s, okay? And this would be John Brennan. And they would be able to lift that 702. There was an illegal way of spying. In order for those 702s to have been activated, President Trump would have had to not be living in the United States, and President Trump would have had to be a non-citizen of the United States. The only way to get a FISA warrant would have been by Article 1. That's not the way that they did that. And you can, if you want to get more information than that, watch my last video where I explain that. They never thought she would lose, so it didn't matter. They figured they could go ahead and do this because John Brennan okayed it. And really, it was James Clapper who allowed that too. So I hope that helps. I'm not so sure I have that all perfect right now, but let's go ahead and move on. I think you get the idea. Post 1829, Q goes on to ask, what assets, people were placed spy in POTUS campaign? Well, I suppose there were many. Off the top of my head, I think of Carter Page. How about Stephen Halper? How about Paul Manafort? How about Rick Gates? How about Jeffrey Yohai, Paul Manafort's ex-son-in-law? Him and Gates both copped to plea deals, didn't they? And we may be hearing from Yohai in this investigation. Q says, why did the news cycle drop this investigation? Yeah, it was a big deal. All of a sudden, we're talking about Nunes today. Maybe it's because they don't want to find out where the connections actually go. Maybe they don't want to find out that this goes straight back to the UK, the MI6, and all these connections that we saw up here. And Q says, think several. And several of these people were all fired, weren't they? Or they stepped down. Outwardly, they said they resigned. Now, Q says, what if those placed are being investigated by Bob Mueller? And I'm going to assume this is Bob Mueller in contrast to using this RM here, who I earlier said would be Robbie Mook. And I think that Q is just making the distinction there. Just my guess, but that's what I imagine there. Anyway, well, Manafort is being investigated, and Rick Gates was investigated. We may hear from this Jeffrey Yohai. So what if those placed are being investigated? It's hard to really know. Q says plants need water. So could these plants be getting some deals? Could it be that Manafort ends up making a deal as well? Now, it looks like he's guilty of some fraud, and Gates pled guilty to some fraud. But they may very well lead us to bigger fish. And those bigger fish look like they're swimming up here. Q says, what if Nellie Orr previously worked on the farm? Well, we do know this. Back in April of 2016, the DNC funded the Steele dossier by way of Fusion GPS, right? Fusion GPS was connected to Bruce Orr. Bruce Orr, of course, married to Nellie Orr, who 1 month later got herself a ham radio license. So she could finally get on and say 10-4, good buddy, to all her good buddies across the pond. Now, did she work on the farm before? Not really sure. However, she was a member of Open Source Works, which is directly related to the CIA. And of course, the farm is referring to Camp Peary, an approximately 9,000-acre U.S. military reservation in York County near Williamsburg, Virginia, officially referred to as an Armed Forces experimental training activity under the authority of the Department of Defense. Camp Peary hosts a covert CIA training facility known as the Farm, which is used to train officers of the CIA's Directorate of Operations as well as those of the DIA's Defensive Clandestine Service, among other intelligence entities. All right, so it looks like we got ourselves a little clown. And Q says the start. Remember, FISA is the start. Public justification to proceed clean. So essentially what I'm reading out of all this is that it looks like these 20 pages are going to drop the bomb on the names. All these names and their direct connections. And it looks like we're getting a little mappy map right here of how it all worked. And once we see that, that should give the public justification to go ahead and start working on what we really should be working on is investigations into the deep state rather than this Trump-Russia collusion. And we may not ever have to really abandon the special counsel because Mueller's already looking into Manafort. But this should be a new start, should be a clean start, and it should hopefully be dropping any time now. Post 1830, Q gives us the number to the Clinton Foundation, 888-373-7888. Did you call it? Who called it? You know what it was. Turns out it wasn't the Clinton Foundation after all. Or was it? It was the National Human Trafficking Foundation. How about that? Now that's funny because that's almost like Q's implying that the Clinton Foundation and the National Human Trafficking Foundation might have something to do with each other. It's the same foundation that Chelsea Clinton tweeted about back in June. Yeah, she said, of course there's a Pizzagate 2.0. Of course there is. Condescending much, Chelsea? Geez. If you have been a victim of trafficking or have suspicions of actual trafficking, please reach out to the National Human Trafficking Hotline, 1-888-373-7888. 8. All right, well, there's big implications there, isn't there? Pretty interesting set of circumstances. So is Q implying that some of these human trafficking foundations might be funneling some of that information on where these missing children are going so that they can go out and grab them themselves? Would it be such an outlandish thing to entertain? After all, Laura Silsby ended up working for Amber Alert. Interesting indeed. Those are your Q posts. I got one more story for you. From the True Pundit, mystery as DOJ and FBI land a 757 jet in Clinton's hometown, Little Rock, Arkansas, loaded with boxes and documents. This is very interesting. A stealth DOJ flight into Little Rock and then back to Virginia, or would have been stealth if it were up to the mainstream media. Jumbo Jet 2, apparently loaded with evidence. And as you can see, there's the plane here. And this is from a tweet from John Basham. Yesterday, the Justice Department had a Boeing 757-223 tail number N119NA in Little Rock, Arkansas, a local radio station reported. Hashtag DOJ employees were loading boxes of documents into the plane. Important to note, Clinton Foundation located there. Thoughts? And then there's a couple hashtags right there. And then you see this later. Let me see if I can blow that up. Flight path and registration of the Justice Department Boeing 757-223 registration N119NA from Little Rock back to the D.C. area. And there you can see there's the registry right there. And then you get this last one here from Basset Bastard. If you haven't been on another planet, you would already know that the FBI field office in Little Rock, Arkansas has taken the lead on a new investigation against the Clinton Foundation. That's funny. We were just talking about the Clinton Foundation. Can't remember how, but I thought we were just talking about it. In early July, True Pundit reported FBI insiders complaining about Little Rock FBI's lack of progress on the Clinton Foundation probe, which they said was being hampered by a loyalist or Andrew McCabe and James Comey. Perhaps Little Rock has since been removed from the probe. Per that exclusive report, FBI officials in the Little Rock field office in Arkansas are not actively pursuing leads on the Clinton Foundation, according to several FBI insiders who are blowing the whistle on the Bureau's investigative ruse. Everyone and their mother knows the Clinton Foundation is a front for personal and private gain, bending and breaking numerous state and federal laws for decades. Except, apparently, the FBI. Little Rock FBI Special Agent in charge, Diane Upchurch, has all but smothered the investigation, which at some point was focusing on money laundering and other financial-based crimes, FBI officials said. There was some momentum, but that is gone, one FBI agent said. We made some huge inroads. This thing, Clinton Foundation probe, is on its deathbed. Upchurch, before taking the head job in Little Rock, in 2016, after a James Comey promotion, was a lieutenant of former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe in Washington, D.C. She served as a section chief, SES, in the Counterterrorism Division for nearly 3 years. And there she is right there. So, interesting stuff. Well, I'm over here on BigLeaguePolitics.com. And as you can see in front of you, this is the FAA registry. It looks like this is indeed a DOJ plane. Landing in Little Rock. How about that? Here's the update right here. Today, this same DOJ plane went from Richmond back to Little Rock. As it approached, it went dark and fell off the radar. Eyes on the ground confirmed the flight landed. It stayed for a few hours and flew back to Richmond. Same flight path as August 3rd, 2018. That's funny because at the same time, our boy Jeff Sessions was in Arkansas. And as you can see, this was published on August 2nd, but he ended up making his way to Little Rock. How about that? Same time as a first DOJ plane. So it looks like we've got some documents going from Little Rock to DC, the home of the Clinton Foundation. Could there be some Clinton Foundation documents on there? I don't know. Maybe we better call them. But it looks like either way, the previews are over. And it's time for showtime. So I would expect a lot more of these kind of pieces right here. But at the same time, I would also expect a little bit of this. Well, enjoy your day, Patriots, and take your places. After all, it's almost showtime. Those are your Q posts for today. If you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me getting that message out there. If you are new to my channel, please understand that YouTube will uncheck you and unnotify you. So keep checking back. They will also unsubscribe you as well too. So if you don't hear from me in about 48 hours, check back because I post videos about every 24 to 48 hours. I am also over here on the Twitter at IPOT1776. That's at IPOT1776. You can find me on Gab at In Pursuit of Truth. You can find me at Real.Video at In Pursuit of Truth, or IPOT. And it looks like as of the other day, I am back on BitChute for now, so you can find me over there too. And my Patreon link is also down below if you'd like to support the channel. That's all I got for you today, Patriots. Stay interested, stay in your seat.